up, family? Good to see you guys back rolling with us for another compelling thought. Today is going to be really pivotal. Honestly, I want to have a foundational conversation. If this is your first time watching us, let me break something down. This channel in particular is to help people live a compelling life. Now, some people may hear that and they go, all right, that's pretty cool. Awesome. But on the surface, it's like, all right, it sounds like a lot of other motivational talks or inspirational talks. But when you really look at that word compel, some people love it and they go, oh man, that's so powerful. But what does that really mean? And a lot of people relate it to obsessed. It's like, oh, okay, you're obsessed about something. I'm wearing one of the shirts. You're obsessed about being great. I personally believe you can be obsessed about something, but you could be compelled about something. It's two different things. So I want to break that down. What's the difference between being compelled versus being obsessed? Now, honestly, I've heard a lot of different motivational talks where they'll break down, obsession is such a great thing. You should be obsessed about something. You should be obsessed about that goal. That's great. I've heard other talks where they'll say, hey, being obsessed about something isn't necessarily good. Hey, as a human, it breaks down a lot of insecurities, and it breaks down different aspects about us having this hunger and desire and craving for things that we shouldn't necessarily have. And I've heard negativity about being obsessed about something. That's a whole different conversation. Honestly, I don't necessarily I see where they're coming from, but at the end of the day, it all depends on your level of obsession, but that's a whole other story for a whole other day. What I want to break down as it relates to being obsessed versus being compelled, I believe there's a certain sweet spot that if we really find and rest in, man, we'll get some real results in our lives. So let me break this down for a little bit. So obsession, honestly, let's start with that. Being obsessed about something, it relies on some personal gratification. So let's think back. Maybe you were obsessed about a person. Let's think back about your first crush. Let's go back. Think about your first crush that you had. Maybe this person had no idea that you existed. Him or her really had no idea you were on the surface of this earth, but you were obsessed about them. You thought about them, you daydreamed about them. Maybe a specific status, maybe it's a certain status or position that you want to get to. You're obsessed about that. Man, if I get into this career, if I get this job, it's going to absolutely change my life. Maybe it's a car, maybe it's a house. There's certain things that we can be obsessed about. The underlying feeling is like a personal gratification. Man, if this person becomes my boyfriend or girlfriend, wow, I'll be the man on campus. I'll be the girl on campus, whatever it may be. Man, if I get that car, if I get that house, it's going to absolutely change my circle of influence. There's a certain, or I'll just feel better about myself. Maybe it's not necessarily on the outside. Maybe there'll just be a deeper, higher level of self-esteem. But at the end of the day, there's a personal level of gratification that being obsessed about a specific individual, or maybe it's something material. It's some kind of personal gratification that it's going to provide. Ultimately, what I'm saying is you're the one pulling it. On the other end, that material item, that object, maybe it's that individual, you're pulling it. The desire to have it, all the effort is coming on your end. So you're pulling all your effort, all your desire, all that drive, your efforts are pulling that result to come to you. That goal, you're the one making that goal happen. This is where I feel compelled is a little bit different. When you're compelled about something, you're not necessarily pulling it, it's pulling you. It's pulling you. So when I tell people all the time, hey, live a purposeful life, when you really find what you were designed to do, when you really kind of have a better idea of what your gifts and callings are, what your like underlying talents are, and you'll be able to see how it could open rooms for you and open doors for you, you'll start to live with a deeper level of purpose and meaning. And then there'll be some things that you'll be compelled to see come to pass. It's pulling you. You may not even be thinking about it. You could be at home watching a movie after a long day. It's like that voice in the back of your head. It's like, you need to work on that project, right? You need to go back to school, right? You need to make up with that person, right? That organization really could benefit with your gifts, with your talents. You really need to be a better influence in this relationship. Whatever it may be, it's pulling you. You're not necessarily pulling it. So what I wanted to show you in the context of living a compelling life, there's a lot of similarities, but what I found that really moves the needle in my life is when we find that sweet spot. So let's just say this is compelled, something that I'm compelled about. And then let's say this is something that I'm obsessed about. Now, it could be the same thing. It could be the same thing. So let's just say my health, right? I've shared before that, hey, I'm on a fitness journey. I've lost about 30 pounds over the last year. It's been great. I have a desired target goal. But what really moved the needle in my life is when I stopped necessarily being obsessed about something, but I really started to be compelled about it as well. And then I started to live in this sweet spot. So I grew up, my sport of choice was basketball, believe it or not. I used to, go ahead and drop 30, 40 on them. But it became a point in my life where, other things start to happen, responsibilities, more responsibilities fell in my lap, got married, child, advancements at work. So, hey, I necessarily couldn't give the sport what I wanted to give, so to speak. I had to take my talents somewhere else. But all jokes aside, life started lifing. And I didn't have time to play basketball as much as I wanted to before. So therefore, if that was my sport of choice, that I could play basketball all day growing up. Once that stopped, I necessarily didn't exercise as much as I wanted to. And the other caveat is I love to eat. So shout out to all my foodies out there. I love to eat. Now, with loving to eat and not exercising and not paying attention to my nutrition, over time I gained weight. And it was something that I had a desire to, I have a desire to get back in shape. I have a desire to work out. And it really I had a point in time where I was obsessed. I would go to the gym and I would try to work out and I would go hard in the gym, but I necessarily didn't see the results that I wanted to see right away. And if anybody knows, if you don't see the results that you want to see right away, it starts to get discouraging and, then you become inconsistent, all of these different things. Fast forward, one day changed my life. So I went to the doctor to go ahead and just, get a normal physical, see how I'm doing. And he had a conversation with me. He said, hey, look, you're at an age right now where being young, it was beneficial. You could eat whatever you want to eat. You could do whatever you want to do. But now, looking at your family history and where you are right now, if you don't make some drastic changes, I'm going to have to put you on medication. With your family history of, high blood pressure and all those different elements, chances of you getting a stroke, chances of your life or of your health really being impacted is critical. And if you don't make some drastic decisions right now and drastic changes right now, you're not going to like the outcome. And at that time, my daughter was just born. And he said, hey, didn't you just have a newborn? I'm like, yeah. Jade, shout out to you, love you, baby girl. And he was like, do you want to be here? Do you want to walk Jade down the aisle? Do you want to be there for her as she gets older? Do you want to see her graduate? All those different elements? I'm like, absolutely. And as he started to paint a picture, it moved from just necessarily being something I wanted to do to, it was something I was obsessed about. And he said, okay, let's develop some habits. Let's develop some habits. Let's develop some consistency, not only in you working out and your fitness, but also in your nutrition. And it was something that I became obsessed about, but it was something that I was compelled about because it had a deeper purpose and it had a deeper meaning. And the point I'm trying to get at is right here in this sweet spot. That sweet spot is where I find the most results. Where I get the best results in life is when I find those things that I can be obsessed about, that it's going to provide some personal gratification, but it also has a deeper meaning and a deeper purpose behind it. So now when I'm working out and I'm thinking about, I want to be the healthiest version of myself. I want to look the best when, me and my wife may go out to the beach, or, we may go out to a nice dinner. I want to look the best. I want to be attracted to my wife. But at the same time, I'm also thinking about my health long term. I'm thinking about, hey, I want to grow old with my wife. I want to be here for my daughter. I'm thinking about all those different elements. I don't want to be on medication. And there's a deeper meaning. So I could relate this to a bunch of different topics and a bunch of different areas. So we spoke about health. We can also say finances. Finances. It looks like Francis, but it's finances. Anyways, there's some goals that you may have. There's some goals that I have. And there's some goals that if I'm not careful, I could be obsessed about those things. And it has a deeper meaning and a deeper purpose behind it. But this is why I say being obsessed necessarily isn't a bad thing, because I can have some goals for my family that I'm not necessarily, I'm benefiting from, but I'm not the only one benefiting from it. I may have some personal goals, financial goals, I should say, for my family, but it has a deeper meaning. It has a deeper meaning. Once again, I share sometimes too much, but I don't share about like my things that I do charity-wise or whatever. But there's a few organizations, nonprofits, and churches that my family and I, that we partner with every single month, and we give every single month to those different organizations. I'm not necessarily benefiting from it. My family isn't necessarily benefiting directly from us giving, but there's a deeper meaning. We want to see their mission go forward. We want to see the work that they're doing in the community go forward. So the financial goals that I may have is not only for my family benefit, but it's also for other organizations and other communities and other neighborhoods to benefit from. And as I shared, going back to my point, once I find those goals, once I find those desires, once I find those aspirations, and I'm able to have that sweet spot identified, where it's something that, yeah, I may be obsessed about the outcome. I may be obsessed about the end goal, but at the same time, I'm compelled because it has a deeper purpose and a deeper meaning behind it. Man, I literally, once I live in that sweet spot and I identify that sweet spot, man, it literally moves the needle and it changed the game. Because now there may be some days where I may not want to do it. There may be some days I may not want to go to the gym. There may be some days I may not want to put in as much effort and work. There may be some seasons where I'm more tired and putting in that extra effort. I may not want to do it. Let's just be honest. We're all human. But if there's a deeper meaning behind it, where let's say our obsession and motivational level may be down, our inspirational level may be higher. And we could be compelled about it, and we can literally break some chains. We can literally break some generational curses. We can literally move the needle in our lives if we identify that sweet spot. So I know an individual personally, hey, he wants to go to the NFL. He wants to go to the NFL. He is a star football player in high school, and he was obsessed about, you know what? I just love playing football. I just love playing football. It was something that he was obsessed about. But once he defined a deeper meaning, hey, if I get this scholarship, not only will it help myself because I'm doing what I absolutely love to do, but it's going to help my family because I know they don't have the resources for me to go to college. And then if I get a scholarship to this college, he has a college in mind that he wants to go to. He should be receiving the letter soon. We're in that season right now, that time of the year where they're going to go ahead and start locking those decisions in. He's like, I already have a school in mind. If I go there, chances of me going to the NFL are going to go even higher. And he's not only obsessed about an outcome, but he's compelled about an end goal that's not only going to impact his life, but it's going to impact his family's life. Once again, you can literally break down any single area, if it's school, if it's sports, if it's health, if it's a relationship, if it's a marriage, whatever it may be. I promise you, if you find that sweet spot, if you say, yeah, there's some things where I'm going to benefit, okay, great. There's some things that I'm definitely looking forward to, but you know what? It's not just about me. There's some outliers. There's some other things that's going to affect the people around me. Maybe it's my family. Maybe it's my community. It could be the world. Whatever it may be, I promise, once you identify that sweet spot, it's going to change your life, and it's going to move the needle, and it's going to create some compelling results that's going to absolutely change the game. So, as always, hopefully this was beneficial for you. If you haven't tapped into a few other videos that's going to completely revolutionize your thinking and how you can live a compelling life. Share this with somebody. Go ahead and like. And if you haven't done so already, join the tribe, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.